Hello, my name is Chris, and today I'd like to talk to you about losing weight after quitting smoking. Although it doesn't affect every single person who quits, for many of us, weight gain is a natural side effect, symptom, whatever you want to call it, of the quit process. Typically, most people may naturally gain somewhere between 4 and 11 pounds as their metabolism changes during the quit process. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later and why that may not be something that you necessarily need to worry about. However, for some former smokers, myself included, the weight gain goes way beyond 4 to 10 pounds. For me, I think I gained about at least 20 pounds, if not a little bit more. However, the good news is that I was able to lose those 20 pounds and another 22 pounds on top of that, and to reach the weight that I'm at today. Now, I'm not saying I've achieved all my health goals and I'm perfectly at ideal where I would like to be, but I'm getting there slowly but surely, and I've definitely made a lot of progress. And later on, I will tell you how I did that. If this is the first time that you've stumbled across my YouTube channel, then you may not know that we have this wonderful community on Facebook of people who are at all different stages of their quit journey, supporting each other, loving each other, being kind and encouraging to each other through their quit process. People who are trying to find freedom from nicotine addiction, find freedom from smoking, and enjoy wonderful, happy, smoke-free lives. You can come and join us on Facebook, facebook.com/groups/findingfreedom1. I will put the links down in the description below as always. The reason I mention this now is that over the last few weeks there has been more talk of people talking about weight gain or losing weight or using food as a substitute for cigarettes or emotional eating and things like that. And somebody did ask me, Chris, can you do a video about weight loss after putting the cigarettes down? I said, yes I can. And here we are. Now, it's worth mentioning, although it should be obvious, but it's worth mentioning that I'm not a dietitian or a fitness expert or anything like that. So rather than me sit here and say to you, okay, if you want to lose weight, here's what you have to do, I thought it would be better to just talk from my own personal experience and tell you what I did to lose my weight, and then you can decide for yourself whether that's something you want to emulate or change, or how you want to go about that journey for yourself. The first thing that I had to do was to accept, as I said, that at least a little bit of weight gain is inevitable. Now, just a few moments ago, I said that most people gain probably between 4 and 11 pounds. I've just had another look at my notes and I actually wrote down between 5 and 10 pounds. So, slight difference, but I'm sorry about that. But what happens is that when we smoke, it makes our heart beat like crazy, pumps the blood faster and faster. This increases the rate at which our bodies break down the food that we eat and convert it into energy. Our metabolic rate gets faster and faster. And as a result, we typically end up weighing less than somebody who has the same diet and exercise routine that we do, however they don't smoke. In other words, if I had a twin brother, let's call him Frank, and Frank and I both ate exactly the same meals every day, both did exactly the same things every day, both did exactly the same amount of exercise every day, but I smoked and Frank didn't, then he would weigh between 5 and 10 pounds heavier than me. Then we quit smoking. Our metabolism starts to change, but we don't make any changes to our diet or our lifestyle. We eventually level out at the weight that we should be, if we didn't smoke. So if I stopped smoking, suddenly I would gain between 5 and 10 pounds and be just as heavy as my imaginary brother Frank. I have read accounts of people gaining these extra, I keep saying between 4 and 11 or between 5 and 10 pounds, these extra few pounds, gaining them when they first quit, and then the metabolism adjusts and that weight naturally dissipates as they start to go about their lives. They naturally get more energy because they quit smoking, so they naturally start to do more, and the weight levels out again. If that's not happening, it's relatively simple to just make a few small lifestyle tweaks and to shift that weight. So I had to accept that at least a little bit of this was inevitable, and that was good news, because then it meant I didn't have to beat myself up as much. Go, Chris, you're terrible, you need to stop eating everything. I'm such a bad person because I've gained weight. No, I'm not a bad person. It was a natural side effect, and I can do something about it. However, the majority of my weight gain was not to do with metabolism, but was to do with emotional eating and using food as a crutch and using it as a substitute for smoking. Even though I didn't always, it wasn't the fact that every time I had a cigarette it was due to some heightened emotion. I always smoked to change the way that I felt, even if I just felt flat and boring and just getting on with my life. So when I quit smoking, I needed something else to change the way that I felt, especially when I was going through the withdrawal stages of smoking. So I put the cigarettes down and I picked up the cakes and the ice cream and the junk food and the 2-litre bottles of cherry Coke that I drank pretty much all the time, just to change the way that I felt. Emotional eating is a huge subject and it deserves a video in its own right, and I likely will do one of those one day, because it's an issue that for me personally I still even now struggle with sometimes when I don't drink and I don't smoke, but if I am in a really emotional state, or if I'm really stressed out and anxious, then that thought is always there of, okay, just go and get some cake, pizza or whatever it is. It's something I still contend with, but nowhere near to the extent that I used to. It used to be I was emotionally eating all of the time. Like I just piled in food to change the way that I felt, whereas now I'm at this point where I'm very much mindful of it. Like in the past it was just this unconscious thing of just shoveling everything in my mouth. Now I'm very much aware when I start to think, okay, I should just eat my way through my pain. What I have found is that comfort eating does not make me comfortable. No amount of chocolate, no amount of ice cream, no amount of pizza will make my emotional pain go away. But at the time I didn't know that. So I had to start tackling that. Once it came to me, once I learned that, okay, this is what I'm doing, I need to take action to stop this. Last week I made the video about acting on intention rather than reacting on instinct, and I had to do that a lot. When I would go to the fridge and to the kitchen cupboard to go and get food, it was just a reaction. I don't like how the way I'm feeling, dive to the fridge, get all the food. And I had to learn to stop and just be mindful and ask myself, okay, why am I here right now? Am I at the fridge? Am I at the kitchen cupboard because I am genuinely hungry and my body needs nutrients? Or am I just eating to change the way that I feel? And that took some practice and that took some getting used to. It wasn't a natural thing for me. One thing that I had to do that helped me was to put reminders on the fridge door, on the inside of the cupboard. And I tried a few different things, like I just write down on a post-it note, stop, think. I also took pictures out of magazines of people who were, in better shape than I was, which to be honest was most people were better shape than I was after I first quit smoking, stuck those on the inside of the cupboard so that when I opened it, that's what I saw. And it was this reminder of, okay, what am I doing here? Do I really want to eat all these biscuits right now? And oftentimes I would just turn and walk away. I've talked before about with quitting smoking, that, you know, if I can't quit smoking for a day, can I quit smoking for an hour or 10 minutes? And it would be the same with eating. I'd go to the kitchen and go, okay, I'm here because I can't actually tell if I'm hungry or emotional. So what I'll do is I'll play the delay game and I'll go away for 10 minutes. And if in 10 minutes I still want to eat, then I can eat, but I'm going to eat like fruit or vegetables or something like that. And that was another big thing that I had to do, was to literally make sure that all the junk food and all the crap that I used to be eating wasn't in my house anymore. So I did get, you know, made sure my cupboards and my fridge and my freezer were stocked with vegetables, with fruit, with like things like, you know, beans and pulses and healthy foods, and started to learn how to cook with them and make healthy meals. Got rid of the soda, replaced it with water. It wasn't a perfect plan, you know, there are always shops that I can go to if I am absolutely desperate for ice cream or for a candy bar or something like that. But it puts that next obstacle between me and the self-sabotaging behavior of overeating. And this wasn't a radical overhaul either. It wasn't that I went through my entire house with like a black bin bag and chucked all the junk food in and threw it in the bin, and then went to Whole Foods and you know, bought all this new stuff that I'd never eaten before. I did it the same way that I do everything, bit by bit, one step at a time. Because I've learned that for me, that's the only way that I can stick to something. If I try to radically overhaul everything, if I try to do too much all at once, I get burned out or overwhelmed, or I feel like I'm being deprived of something, or I missed, you know, I can't, I'm not the sort of person that can go all in straight away. I need to build up, and I'm fine with that. You know, I've learned that that is the approach that works for me, and that's the approach that I try and use with everything. So it might have been, in fact it was rather, that I started with, like I said, I get those 2 litre bottles of cherry Coke. Let's get rid of them first. Let's replace them with water. Okay, that's done. So now I get rid of the biscuits, cookies, you know, desserts, all those kind of things. They're the next to go. When I'm comfortable not drinking soda and not eating desserts, then I'll go into, let's get rid of white bread, and let's get rid of, you know, but I get rid of those things, but I might still have been eating like processed foods and meat and things like that. Eventually, I kind of drifted into being a vegetarian, and in fact most days now I tend to eat a vegan diet, even though I don't necessarily class myself as a vegan, and you won't get me, you know, preaching about animal rights or anything like that. You eat what you want to eat. Just for me personally, I found that eating vegetarian and mostly vegan, but not always, has been really beneficial for me. I noticed that the weight started to drop off when I dropped meat and dairy from my diet. I started to feel better and have more energy. Obviously it's not perfect, but I found that it was helpful for me. And what was also helpful for me was, again, to not beat myself up and not think that I am a terrible person if I didn't stick rigidly to, you know, a strong, ultra healthy vegan diet 24/7, 365. Some days I would, you know, yes, go and eat a cheese pizza and have dessert. Maybe have a glass of cherry Coke. But there is a big difference between Do you know what? Once a month, I'm going to order a cheese pizza and watch a movie and treat myself. There is a big difference between, okay, I'm going out for my friend's birthday and I'm going to order dessert. Doing that, and okay, it's just Monday, so I'm just going to eat like crap. Or it's just Tuesday, I'm just going to eat like crap. It's just Wednesday, I'm just going to eat like crap. There's a big difference between an occasional treat, which I am allowed, I give myself that permission to have that occasional treat, because otherwise I might go insane. You know, my life today is not about denying myself the things that I want. It's about wanting the things that are good for me. I'm not sure if I've necessarily worded that as well as I would have liked, but I hope you know what I'm talking about. Like today, I don't go around thinking, oh my God, I'm deprived of Big Macs and I'm deprived of cake, I'm deprived of ice cream. I'm not deprived of anything. I can have those things if I really want them. It's just that these days I want what is best for Chris and best for this body that I'm in. So I want fruit and I want vegetables and I want water. And when I do want the crappy stuff, I'll go and have it, but it's a rare thing. You know, if I eat like a plant-based diet 6 days a week and then on Sunday night I have a cheese pizza, then, you know, I've got more ticks in my win column than in my loss column. And that isn't necessarily my routine, by the way. I can eat well for weeks on end and then every now and again treat myself. And I have to give myself that permission to treat myself. At one point I tried to do the slow carb diet, which anyone who is familiar with the work of Tim Ferriss might be familiar with. And it actually got me some good results. I actually lost about 10, 11 pounds in a very short period of time. But it made me miserable. I'd hated every moment of it. So even though it was working, I stopped because like I said, my life is not about making myself miserable anymore. When I quit smoking, I went through an absolute war. I went through absolute hell to quit smoking. So with losing weight, I wasn't prepared to go through that war anymore. I was looking at ways that I could do this that would be fun and that I would enjoy. So when I started to phase meat and dairy out of my life, I would experiment with different foods and different recipes and find things that I liked and that I could enjoy eating. And that was a big step for me as well, was to learn to enjoy eating. Not just to make dinner, turn the TV on, and mindlessly shovel all the food in my mouth whilst totally distracted by whatever was on TV. But to sit there with my meal and to enjoy and to savour every bite and to eat mindfully. And that helped because I was more conscious of what I was doing. Quite often I wouldn't finish the plate because I actually go, do you know what, I'm actually full now, I can stop eating. And the weight started to fall off. You'll notice I haven't mentioned exercise yet. I'm getting to that right now. I had to approach exercise the same way that I approached my changes to my diet, which was bit by bit, step by step, one good decision at a time. Today, I enjoy running. I enjoy cycling. I even enjoy going to the gym. But I had to experiment with different things and find what I enjoyed, what healthy activities I enjoyed that I wouldn't get sick of and stop doing. Like I say, I enjoy going to the gym. But if I went to the gym and I hated every single second that I was there, then I would not keep going, because this weight loss thing is not about making myself miserable. It's about finding stuff that I enjoy. If I didn't enjoy running, maybe I could have tried walking or joined a sports club, learned how to play tennis, joined a football team. I mean, I'm the worst football player or soccer player for my American friends in the world, but I could have done it and seen if there was some joy in that for me. It just so happened that I found that that running and cycling and going to the gym were the things that brought me joy and made me happy. And again, as with everything, I had to approach it step by step. I didn't go into the gym and find the heaviest weights and start lifting the heaviest weights. I didn't go on my very first run and do a marathon. I actually just finished a marathon back in April, but my very first run was not 26.2 miles. It was 1 mile to the end of my street and 1 mile back again. And then I did that a few times, and then I would do, okay, let's do 2 miles, and then 2.5, and then 3, and then built up. And all the while going, okay, am I enjoying this? And if I am, then if I am enjoying what I'm doing, I'm more likely to go and keep doing it. I talk in loads of videos about one of the best things that we can do when we're quitting smoking or dealing with depression or just living our life in general is to go and put on some really awesome music and just dance around and sing. It does wonders for our mood, it gets our dopamine going, it makes us feel good. But it also, it's physical exercise. We're moving around. Don't dance like that. Nobody dances like that, but apart from Theresa May, but we'll not go there. We're moving around, we're burning energy, and that's what we need to just find something that can help us burn energy. Get a dog, take the dog for a walk. Anything like that we can do that can keep us moving around. And over time, I would combine all these things, just natural, healthy eating and taking my exercise step by step, building up, and started to see positive results. However, sometimes I would hit a snag, sometimes things wouldn't go according to plan, and I'd put on a few pounds again, and it was tempting to pick up the big stick and go, Chris, you shit, you're doing it all wrong, bah, 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 bah. Instead go, no, okay, let's look at, okay, what have I done in the last couple of days that could have affected this? Has there been any changes? Or have I just reached a certain plateau? Do I maybe need to take things to the next level? I've enjoyed running 5 miles a week. Maybe I need to start running 6 or 7. Maybe I've let one or two unhealthy eating habits slowly creep back in. Do I need to change those? And just to be mindful that, my weight loss didn't start here and just go, it kind of went, little spikes, and then, I'd maybe gain 3 or 4 pounds, but then when I got back on track, I'd lose 6 or 7 pounds and keep going that way. It all pays off, and eventually I've lost 42 pounds at least. At my heaviest, in fact, I don't even know if it was my heaviest, but at the time when I went, okay, I've had enough, I'm going to do something about this, I weighed 15 stone, which is 210 pounds. The last time I weighed myself, I was 12 stone, which is, I think if I remember this rightly, 168 pounds. So all that weight has gone. And now I'm at the point with my health goals where I'm not so much focused on weight loss, but about toning up and getting into shape. And I'm going to do that one step, one good decision at a time. I feel like I've talked at you for a very long time. If it was you that asked me to talk about weight loss after quitting smoking, I hope this has been helpful to you in some way. I hope this covers what you wanted me to cover. If not, let me know in the comments. Let me know in Finding Freedom. Let me know on my own personal Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Chris Scoyles. Let me know what else I can cover, how I can do this topic differently. The next couple of weeks, we're going to talk more about self-sabotaging behavior and things like emotional eating, and we'll dive deeper into that stuff. Until then, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I will see you next time.